Differences between this and the old is we have a V-groove channel here for setting different things into it. For instance, the way we hook the fence on is with this V-groove. It slides in here, automatically centers it, and what that does, that allows us to put different options on here. If we come out with a router table or a table saw, something like that, we can add things onto it very easily. The other things that we've changed is the height of it. The height of the table itself went from 32 to 35.5 inches, which is a standard height for most work tables that you work on. It seems to work the best for people. Other things we have done is we've made it 11 pounds lighter than the other table, bigger work surface. And the other stuff that we have done also is that we've extended out these sides here. Allows us to hook the tables end to end without folding up a set of legs. So now they can stay down and you get folding support. Those are basically the new parts to it. What we're going to do now is we're going to set up the table and show you how to do it. What you want to do is you're going to look for these stops here, and you need to figure out what the front and the back of the table is. So where you're standing is going to be the front of the table. These pins, stops, need to be on your right side. So what we're going to do is we have two hinges here, or two plates to hold the rail. One's got a hinge. That one goes to the back of the table. What we're going to do is we're going to slide this in the long length. Slide it in. Hopefully slide it in. All the way down the stop, lift this up, lock that lever down, and then lock this knob down. This will make it easier to set up the rail and square it up. Next thing we're going to do is the same thing down the front side. We're going to do this also. Slide it in the long side. I'll slide it in here. All the way down to the stop. Lock that knob in, pick that up, and lock that in. Now what we want to do is we're going to set the rail up, and the rail, the splinter guard, is always going to go to the right side, so it's going to sit just like this. We're going to slide this post in here, this one right here, into the slot, like so. You want to make sure the bolts are loose enough so it slides on easy. And we're going to take the plate in about an inch to about right here. Then the next thing we want to do is this tab right here is going to go inside this groove on the rail. Slide it down, make sure it's in there. And then we're going to tighten up. There's two bolts. There's one on the back side and one on the inside. What we'll do is tighten this back one up. Tighten it down pretty good. Then we're going to pick it up. And we're going to tighten this bolt down here. We don't want to over tighten this or over torque it because you'll make the rail move sideways. So just hand tight and it should drop right on that pin.
Get us close a second. Hey Jim, how are you?
Next thing, this is the deflector. This will help your cord and your hose ride up and over. Slides this part right here, slides into the slot, goes on the front, locks down. Now your cord and your hose can slide up and over very easily. Next thing we're going to do is we want to assemble the miter gauge that holds the fence and attach it onto the table. And what we want to do is, you can see the profile here, will slide into these grooves right here. So we slide this in just like this, and this knob right here will lock it onto that so it doesn't slide. Then we take this V-groove part here and slide it into V-groove, and this knob will lock it onto the table. So we can do that. We can also put it on the side if we want to, all the way around the same profile. So now we're going to slide this in. We lock it down. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this fence, and the fence has got grooves here and a groove here. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
What we're going to do is slide it in. If you look, these pins, we're going to slide this in. And then this just is a cam lock. So if we over tighten it, it's going to loosen it back up. So you cannot over tighten it. Lock it on. Normally I try to keep this in line with the arrows, and that's tight enough. Now the other thing that we can do with this is we can also, if we have taller stock, we can also flip it over and do taller stock. So we can do it either way.
That's good. That's slick.
Most of the time you're going to use it on the lower setting. Now, what we have to decide here, we're going to lower these down. And what we're going to do is to lower it down, we're just going to pick up these handles, drop it down to the level of the fence. And now what we have to do is we have to decide in this direction where this goes. So what we want to look at is we want to look at, we don't want it outside the fence. We don't want it right at the fence, so if we do a 45-degree bevel, it's going to hit it. So what I do is I'll take it back to the very beginning of the holes. If you do that, when you're at a 45, you won't hit it. We'll lock that in, and we're all set. Now, one of the things that's nice about this also is if we loosen up our side knob, we can slide this back and forth. We can slide this back and forth to wherever we need it. So it allows us, if we're cutting short pieces, we can actually move this up forward, and now we don't have to reach over the table, we can just cut it very easily. Nice new feature on it. The other feature is we can also get angles this direction. We can also get angles in this direction, so we can do it in both. The old one only had one set. It only be angled one way. It's got all the different presets that are available. You can use them if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. To defeat the presets, we pull up on this, we turn that sideways, and now that defeats that preset. Lock it in there. Now the other thing we have to worry about is this movement out here. So what we have for that is we've got this set up here. This will slide into the V groove. This locks underneath. And then this right here will slide into the back line of the fence to hold it. So it slides in like that. This slides into there. That comes over to lock it tight. This goes down to lock this in. Now there's no movement. One more thing is the flag stop. It's a new flag stop. If you look at the flag stop, we have a short foot here for the short rail. And if you flip the rail up, what we were talking about earlier, it's got the long foot to support the long. So you got complete support on other pieces. So now we can just do that, and there's your flag stop. Questions?
So how about squaring it up?
Alright, let's square it up.
No, that's pretty cool. Very self-serving.
I don't know how I am as far as on camera and
oh, you're
stuff.
good.
So.
You're fine. You're excellent.
What we want to do to check it for square is we want to use some kind of speed square. Because of the height difference, we need a fat end. So, and then what we do is we put that up against the rail, this up against our fence, and there's no movement. So right now this is perfectly square, no problem. If it's out of square, what we want to do is we're going to take these two bolts here and we're going to loosen these up. So we loosen this up, just like that. We loosen those up, we loosen this up and this up. And now, if you watch this pointer, how come it's not moving? There we go. See how the pointer is turning, but it's still staying on 0? Mm-hmm. What we want to do is make sure that our square is at 0. Lock this up where it is. Now I'm tight against there. Once I have that done, I'm going to lock these two in. Now it won't move. Now I can lock these in place. So now that'll be perfectly square when you set it up. So it's real easy to adjust. It's easy to square up. The biggest thing is you can't use any kind of carpenter square, because anytime you take it on an angle, it changes the angle. So the speed square is really the best way to go.